The weight loss drug craze could hit American taxpayers' pockets. That's according to former National Economic Council Director Brian Deese. He warns that making these drugs available to all obese Americans could cost taxpayers more than $1 trillion a year. Brian Deese joins us right now. He's got more on all of this. He is now an innovation fellow at MIT. And, Brian, the numbers here are pretty staggering. Why don't you walk through the math that you got to this $1 trillion? How's it add up?
They are. It's good to be here, and I'm really glad we can do this on Taco Tuesday with all those tacos laid out around the place. Look, when I started looking into this, I, too, was really blown away by the numbers. We have a massive obesity crisis in the United States, and the scope and the scale is so large that these drugs could touch tens of millions of Americans. That's the good news. They have the potential to reduce obesity, address diabetes, and reduce the healthcare costs associated with that. The problem is that the scale and the cost of these drugs is so large that it could add enormously to the federal budget. So on the numbers, if you look in our median case, you're talking about 44 million people getting these drugs at current prices, $15,000 apiece. That's more than $1 trillion gross of cost to the federal government balance sheet. Now, there is a savings because we are reducing health care costs as well. But unfortunately, those savings only amount to about $200 billion a year. So what you're left with is about an $800 billion a year bill. And just to put that in context, that's about as much as we spend on the entire Medicare program today. So if we don't do anything, and the status quo is what it is, and we do allow this drug to be available to Americans, we could be building in a cost to the federal budget, spending on the order of another Medicare associated with our budget. Obviously, we can't afford that as a nation, but I don't think we can afford to not have these drugs widely available either. So we're going to need to do something different here, and it would be better for policymakers to address this now rather than to let those costs explode and then try to catch up on the back end.
Hey, Brian, I appreciate the math and understand the problem this poses, but your prescription is one that is basically, I mean, you're saying we should basically just take and cut the prices that we will pay for this, take it over, let Medicare and Medicaid say that they're going to negotiate with this brand new drug class, which is a step further than even the 10 drugs that are now being allowed to be negotiated for. Those are drugs that have been on the market for a long time, have a really big base. I have a hard time understanding how that's not just basically IP theft, taking things over, and how it doesn't kill innovation for anybody who's trying to come out with some of these drugs that could be really miracle-like drugs.
Well, look, we want to find the balance between encouraging innovation but also not exploding the deficit. And as public payers, if you're going to be paying that much, you do have leverage, and you should be able to use that leverage in the marketplace. I think that allowing the status quo to go forward, it's not good public policy, but it's not good for the private sector either, because we will quickly run into a situation where the magnitude of the profits involved here it basically represent a direct transfer from U.S. taxpayers to shareholders of these companies. The innovation point I take seriously, but also let's be specific about that. The hurdle rate for drugs today in the private drugs today is about 8 to 9%. 8% of capital, 9% of revenue. Last year, Novo Nordisk, for example, saw net profit margins in the 35 to 40%. So 4 to 5%, the hurdle rate for in investing in these drugs. So there is an opportunity here to come to a more reasonable price for the U.S. taxpayer without discouraging innovation, and frankly, by using the proceeds, some of those proceeds, to invest in public innovation as well. So there's a balance to be struck here, but we also have to realize the status quo. You guys were just talking about the deficit and the national debt. The status quo here is we're moving toward a place where we're going to blow a giant hole in the budget. Better to act now and to act prudently. Yes, but this is an unprecedented situation.
Given so much credit it's a big leap to think that the government can be effective in walking a fine line of what you're trying to do, Brian. And my example would be, let's say Alzheimer's. We know what it costs. how much it costs long term for families and everyone else. If I were a drug company and I knew that you were going to seize my drug because I was earning what you believe is greater than my profit margin should be, I wouldn't develop that Alzheimer's drug. And you say 8 or 9%. You know why Novo Nordisk is getting 35%? Because companies like Pfizer screwed up and didn't get into this business. So their stock's down 50%. So an innovative drug company that makes all the right choices for its shareholders, which risk their money to try to make, to try to make a outsized profit, suddenly you're looking at that profit saying, oh, no. It's for the public good. We as the government are going to decide how much we can let you have so that we don't blow out the deficit. That's not the way, free markets work. That's the way central planning works, Brian.
No, look. I appreciate the over-the-top rhetoric, but let's be clear about how the health systems work across the world, right? The federal governments across the world are payers in these systems. Today, the cost of this drug in France is $1,500. In Denmark, it's $3,500. In the United States, it's $15,000. We're not talking about anyone. We're not talking about anyone seizing IP.
They don't develop any drugs anymore over there because they've overdone it.
Right, and we're not talking about seizing IP. We're not talking about seizing IP or anything like that. We're talking about negotiating a fair price. And look, if we don't,
there's that fair word.
Fiscal consequences are even worse.